I regularly get comments that people like my color grading, and today I'll show you how I do this in Final Cut Pro and share with you some tips and tricks. Let's go! What's good, guys? My name is Oleg Nikitin, you're watching No Limits On channel, and to be honest, I'm not a professional colorist. I'll just show you my own workflow, what works for me, and my colors are more or less classical, so I'm not color grading it like crazy like in a blockbuster movie. I prefer clean and classic colors in my workflows, and my color grading and editing program of choice is Final Cut Pro. I've been using it for more than 15 years, and I've never used once the Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve or After Effects for my particular workflow, and I've been working as a videographer for more than 15 years, as you might imagine, and I'm okay with the tools that I have in Final Cut Pro. It has everything that I need, and basically in any of those programs you'll be able to do the same things as I'm doing in Final Cut. 99.9% of the time I'm using the S-Log3 S-Gamut3.cine with my Sony cameras that have 10-bit color. If it has only 8-bit color, you can use S-Log2 for better results, and I have full tutorials for S-Log3 and S-Log2 on the channel. We're not going to be diving deep into the S-Log workflow, but here is the ungraded footage. As you can tell, it is exposed really high, and it's thanks to the LUT that I'm using. It's by Alistair Chapman. Alistair is a great guy, and I have those LUTs in the description below completely free. So as you can see here, we have -1 stop, -1.5, -2, and -3. So basically these are just the values that you have for this LUT, but all in all the colors are very nice, and I got used to this LUT, and you can use the same LUT in camera when you filming to get better exposure for S-Log. You need to slightly overexpose it, but I mean overexpose it like here, and don't clip it. So you simply do it like exposed to the right, ETTR, exposed to the right, and you have cleaner shadows and footage, and then after color grading it would look like this. So you can use this LUT or you can use another one. It's just easier for me to properly expose S-Log footage and to work with the same LUT with my camera and with my computer in post. And as you can tell from those examples, guys, I do prefer classic color. So I think that kind of super bluish shadows or brownish shadows are trends, but they can come and go. But the classic color, the good classic color with white being white, it's always trendy. So my preference is to have the cleanest color possible. And then if I need to, I can stylize it afterwards, but most of the time I just keep it like this. And one more thing, guys, your monitor may have slightly different colors than mine. Also, YouTube could insert some different colors while compressing the footage. So here we'll be using the scopes. Here I have the RGB parade, as you can tell. Here we have the shadows and the highlights, and here we have the Luma waveform also with the shadows and with the highlights. And my monitor of choice is the 16-inch MacBook Pro. It has mini LED technology, so pretty dark blacks, and I'm really satisfied with it. After being calibrated, it's just spot on. So just keep that in mind that your colors and my colors on different monitors, they may vary slightly. And of course, guys, since I'm talking about the scopes, you definitely need to use those. So my scopes of choice are the RGB parade for adjusting white balance, and also for the Luma waveform to kind of judge my exposure and contrast. So I would highly recommend using those two at a time, and you can also adjust the workspaces by toggling them on and off for my color grading workspace and for my browsing workspace. And I do have a separate tutorial on the channel how to enable those, because it's not that easy and you need to make certain steps to achieve this quick result with hotkeys. And also, guys, I'm not going to be diving deep into the tools that we have in Final Cut Pro, like color board, color wheels, color curves. I have a separate tutorial video about each of those and about the scopes as well. So today will be just color grading. And if you want to learn more about the scopes and the tools we have in Final Cut Pro, you can just watch that video. Okay, guys, let me show you several examples of how I color grade. So here we have the log footage and how it starts for me. So here we have the effects tab, and here I have my correction. What does it mean? So here I'm applying the effect of my correction. Here I have my LUT applied, also hue saturation curves and color board. Hue saturation curves just slightly reduces the red colors from the skin, as I can show you right here. It's very slight, very subtle, but I do apply it all the time because Sony cameras tend to have slightly reddish colors of the skin. Right here in color board, I still have some contrast adjustments, so highlights are getting higher and midtones are getting lower. That's it. And here is my LUT, it's by Alistair Chapman, and here we have different color values, I mean exposure values, so we have -3, -2, and the thing is that you can save your effects preset, and this is what I did. So I did the adjustments for all of my footage, and then I can simply save it as a preset, I can rename it, I can pick the attributes, and here is my workflow. So basically I just drag and drop this colorful preset, and that's it. Then I can tweak the colors, so I pick the color wheels tab, and then I adjust the contrast first. So let me raise up the highlights, so I do not clip the highlights because I get too high and I lose the highlights right there, so I don't get above 100. So here I have my shadows, so I adjust the shadows to about 0 because I love the contrasty look and the classic look, let me say, and then I adjust the midtones, and then I can readjust the shadows ever so slightly, and something like this would work. Then I can use my temperature slider and my tint slider to adjust the white balance, so I want to do it a little bit more towards warmer colors because it's in Tuscany in Italy. It's my wife's wedding workshop. If you're interested, join us. I'll leave the info in the description. So here we have the tint slider, and I would do it to like 3 because I do have slightly greener colors on their skins that I want to. And here is the color that I got before. It was slightly cooler, but this time I would like to make it slightly warmer, and I can even add some more contrast to the midtones. So also guys, if you have your LUT on top, you'll have one color, and if you have it beneath, you'll have a slightly different color. So basically, as regular colorists do it, they have the LUT as an output source, so they have it at the last point. But when you do like so, you have a very gentle control. So when I tweak the white balance, it's almost an instant change in white balance. But when I have it like so, like here, I have much cleaner and much broader range of controls. So for example, when I pull the slider, it acts not as intense and as in the previous position, and it's simply more suitable for me, for my workflow. I can adjust it with more precision basically. So right here you can see that we have different colors, and in my opinion it doesn't make any difference for the end result, but if you are like curious about how it works, I think that there are colorists that can explain it on their channels. For me, it's okay to put the LUT first and all of the corrections after the LUT. But if you want to do it vice versa, it's also doable, and it's probably even more correct. So let me know down in the comment section below if you do know about it. But to me, it works just fine, and the colors still look very nice. So here's the first shot. Here is the second shot, and as you can tell, here's the log footage, and I also did apply almost the same corrections. So here is my initial corrections, Rexon 09 for the LUT, then I have slight red reduction in terms of saturation, then we have the color correction in terms of colors, and then slight color correction in terms of the highlights, midtones, and white balance. So if I were to color grade it from scratch, here is my correction, and it already looks very nice. Then I go to color wheels, and I can simply readjust ever so slightly the highlights, for example, like so, then like so, the midtones. So I'm working with contrast first and with colors second, so I'm making it slightly warmer. I add just a little bit of magenta, and I'm okay with this part of the image. As you can tell, it's overexposed, but I mean, it's fine, it's just a light bulb. So here it is, without the correction, with the correction. It's pretty straightforward, guys. I'm not trying to make their t-shirts super like white. If I was to do so, I would have this type of the image, as you can tell from the RGB parade, but I don't really like it because we were in a super sunny spot and the sun was hitting the yellowish building. That is why they have this tint, and the t-shirt and the dress, they have this slight bluish tint to it, so I would not bother a lot. So here we have the next shot. I wouldn't show you how I color graded from scratch, I'll just show you what I did with those corrections. So here I have the mask, which is adding this vignette, as you can tell. So here you can see the mask itself. So here we have nothing applied, here we have a slight vignette, and the most amount of vignette right here. Also, I have a color adjustment tool, which is super cool, by the way, and it's a new tool in Final Cut Pro. So here we have different things like exposure, value, we have the contrast value, and it's very easy to use and really intuitive. We have the brightness value, the highlights value, the black point, which is very important to use, not to underexpose the footage. Then we have the shadows, and then we have the best things that is here. It's the tint and the warmth of the highlights, shadows, and midtones. And you can adjust the tint of the midtones separately, for example, or the warmth of the highlights or the warmth of the shadows, etc. And it's very easy and intuitive. You can achieve similar results in color wheels, like here, for example, by just pulling the image in different directions, but in the color adjustment tab, it's just easier and more like in Photoshop or in Lightroom. So I really like this tool. So I did apply this tool just a little bit to make it slightly brighter and less magenta. And as you can tell, we have the same tools for the color board and hue saturation curves. The next shot is also very straightforward. I only have my usual correction plus slight correction of the contrast and white balance, and that's it. It's very simple. In this shot, I have only 3 corrections, basically my LUT, hue saturation curves, that is changing slightly the colors of the flowers. As you can tell, when I toggle it on and off, you can see that flowers pop more or less, like here. 1, 2, 1, 2, yeah. And then I have my color wheels for the contrast and for the white balance. Very easy, very straightforward. Here is the backlit shot, and in my opinion, it was much more important to save the highlights on the background than their faces. If we toggle it all off, we can still see the details in the leaves and in their faces, but in my opinion, it's much more important to showcase the beautiful location. It's more of a silhouette shot. So here I have only my usual corrections and also slight adjustment in terms of contrast and white balance. This shot was pretty tough because when you disable all the corrections, you can see that we have a very washed out image. It was a backlight, we had some flares in the lens, and right here I have my correction in terms of the shadows and the midtones, and as you can tell, we have very aggressive shadows and midtones being pulled down and the highlights are being pulled up. And here is without this correction. As you can see, we still have kind of log image, and then we have the contrasted image. So don't be scared to push and pull the image right here. This image is pretty simple as well. So without any corrections, it's looking like this. So it's exposed pretty nicely. And right here we have very slight corrections in terms of just brightness and white balance, then color adjustments for the warmth of the midtones, and then some contrast adjustments. This shot is pretty tough, and for this shot I'm using the draw mask. So here I'm drawing the mask around her forehead. Then I go here, I pick vectorscope, and also I pick the show skin indicator, and I'm trying to place her skin, the forehead itself, more or less on the skin indicator. Keep in mind that it's a relative line, so it's not always working for all types of skins and different lighting scenarios. So it's more or less just a reference, let me say. And when I disable the mask, you can see that right here we have a very nice color of the skin, but right here we have a reflection from the swimming pool, which is right there. And we also have the light being reflected from the floor itself. It has like a sandy color of the floor, and that is why we have a pretty tough lighting scenario. But still her skin looks more or less fine. This part is slightly greener, and it's okay to me because in different shots I'm showing that we are in the swimming pool and it looks bluish, greenish, so on. So for this particular task, a mask and the vectorscope is a very nice touch. So let me get back to my corrections and my scopes. And also guys, here you can see that we have an overexposed area, but if we disable all the effects, you can still see some details right here. So for this particular portion, we can use the color curves, and I can pull down it from right here. So you can see that we retain the details from our highlights from the windows, like so. And then we have slightly darker skin than I would like it to be. So I can simply re-raise this part and do some kind of a curve right here. So let's do like so and like so. So here it is before. We have a blown out window, and after we have some color in it. We have color information. It is slightly bluer. And we still retain pretty good brightness on the face, so we did work only with the highest part of the highlights, which is important to me And the final shot for today, it was shot after the sunset. So as you can tell, it has pretty bluish colors. So here it is without the correction, here it is with the correction. Here I have applied a color board, which is a vignette. So as you can tell, I did raise the exposure a lot, and this color board was a vignette to basically get back the information from here and to focus our attention on the guys. So here it is, as you can tell, the mask. And then we have the color wheels with pretty extreme change of white balance. As you can tell here, we have a very, very strong change of the white balance, but I still do retain the cooler look to this image because it was after, it was almost dark outdoors. It's 12,800 ISO on Sony ZV-E1. And all in all, this image does look okay to my eye because I don't think it is necessary to try to make it look kind of white and super, you know, unrealistic like it was shot during the daytime. It doesn't look real if we do like so. So as I said, I do prefer to keep the images real, true to life, and in this case it was necessary to me to keep the cooler colors. And also, guys, I wanted to show you a pretty cool plugin for Final Cut. It's made by Retouch4Me, you know, dodge and burn plugin for Photoshop and for Lightroom, but they also make some plugins for video editing and LUTs, and it's called Color Match. So if we apply this one, we can basically pick any image and make it look like a movie, for example. So let me choose a reference image, and here we have some different ones, for example, from Dusk Till Dawn. This one. I love Tarantino movies. So when we apply this one, it'll apply a correction. It'll try to make it look as similar as possible to that movie, and instantly it does look like this movie. And we have a lot of different controls. For example, we have the color match blend, so it's blending between the final image and my correction. We also have the match smoothing. As we toggle this on and off and we go through this toggle, we have slightly different results, and I like it on the left. We have the luminance change, as you can see, so less or more contrast, and we have the color match. Something similar to the first one, but it acts slightly different. And we have the blend itself. So here you can use different LUTs, you can open, you can basically download different LUTs for your cameras, etc. So we have a full gallery of different apps. As you can tell from here, we can open this gallery, we can go through it. So here it is, you can go through log footage, you can pick different colors, scenarios, etc. So it's a very fun thing to have, but I'm just liking this particular plugin for its very precise color matching between different things. So let's try a different movie. So here, for example, I have the Matrix, but not from the inside of the Matrix, but with this scene in the ship. And it looks pretty cool, by the way. So here it is before, here it is after, and I really like it. I really like how it looks. And if we go through some toggles, we do like so, and like so, we have a very strong look, but we can always mix and match this. So you can have not like the entire look, but you can have slightly different looks to your image. So for example, cooler image right here. Okay, let's choose a final one. And the real Matrix world, it is called Trinity right here. So let's open it up. Yeah, and it starts looking like a Matrix. Here it is like a super brutal thing. If we don't change the luminance, we'll have slightly better results. So here we have the wedding in Matrix, guys. Looks so cool. So this plugin is very nice and I would highly recommend trying it out. I have a link to the website of Retouch4Me down in the description below. To conclude, guys, color is subjective, and I'm not saying that my workflow is the best one. I'm just saying it is easy, it is simple, and it's doable in almost any NLE. And to my taste, it looks very nice. So let me know what do you think of my color and my workflow down in the comment section below. And also, if you did enjoy this video, you can smash the like and subscribe buttons and hit the notifications bell. And right here I have a full-on tutorial about Final Cut Pro and color grading in it, so I'll see you in that one. Take care, bye!